Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Oluwajoba. If it's the first time here, welcome. Please consider subscribing and joining the family. And if you end up enjoying this video at any point or learning something, please go ahead and give this video a huge thumbs up and share this video with everyone that you can share it with. So today's topic is one that I was asked to do. I'm going to leave the comment here. Somebody was kind enough. You guys know that I love to read your comments, so if you have any video suggestion, I'm just putting it out there again. Please leave them in the comment section. I will try to do my research and film a video for you. As long as it answers one person's question, then it makes me really happy, because I really want to help people as much as I can with my channel. So anyway, so this video I was asked to do a video regarding foreign moms giving birth in Estonia, in Tallinn. Let me say in Estonia, but I'm going to use Tallinn as the key study because that's where I am based. I'm going to try to cover the topics from the moment you do that pregnancy test and you realize that you're pregnant to the moment where you hold your baby, how the process is, what it's like in Estonia, or let me say in Tallinn, Estonia. I'm going to also be sharing some tips, some personal tips at the end of this video, so do well to stay to the end of this video. Let's get right into it. I'm actually excited, but then again, I think I'm more excited because it was actually a question that was asked of me and I feel like I'm addressing, so please don't forget to leave your questions, comments in the comment section below. Okay, all right, so let's start with choosing a hospital. So when it comes to giving birth in Tallinn, there are two major hospitals where we give birth, where most women give birth. I am not too sure about the private hospitals, but I know for a fact that there are two major hospitals where people give birth in Tallinn. We have one, the first hospital is Pergolina, that's what it's called, and the second one is Ravi Hospital. So these are the two major hospitals where women give birth in Tallinn, Estonia. Pergolina Hospital is also known as the West Hospital, and I think it's majorly because they are where they are located. One is located on the east side of Tallinn, one is located on the west side of Tallinn. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's it. So Ravi Hospital is called East Tallinn Central Hospital. Both of them are great options. I don't really think there's one that is better than the other, in my fairest opinion. Both of them offer great maternity care. I personally used Ravi, but I know a lot of people, foreigners especially, who have used Pergolina, and they also have just good things to say about the hospital. I and a couple of other foreigners that I know as well use Ravi, and we have good things to say about the hospital as well. That's not to say that, of course, there are not one or two not so good reviews about these hospitals, but I think it's just the same thing as any good thing. There are also some people that will have negative experiences, but it doesn't take away from the wholeness of the care that they give in these hospitals. Both of them also offer different pain relieving options. So we have the gas, we have water, we have like epidural. So whatever you prefer, you would ask. But I think it would be nice to confirm with your midwife first, which we'll still get to as we talk about this hospital and these topics down the line. Both hospitals have very good and competent doctors and nurses, and they are quite attentive to what you want. And yeah, maybe when you go in and you have like personal experiences of the place, then you can choose. But based off of on care, based off of what's it called, medical staff and all that, I think both of them are amazing. I think both of them are, they are good. So I wouldn't choose one over the other. The reason why I chose Ravi is because it is closer to me. If Pergolina was closer to me, I would have gone with Pergolina. Do you understand? So I think I hope that helps in some way. I think it's also good to know that they also have virtual tours. So if you cannot go in person to see these hospitals yourself, because when you get pregnant, they kind of have like, you can go in, request for like a tour. So they have like groups of moms come together, they show you what the hospital looks like and things like that. So excuse me, if you cannot go in person, then you can check on the website of both hospitals and do the virtual tours. They're actually nice, so you get to see what the hospital looks like, some of the facilities they have, what the family rooms look like, and things like that. Also, another thing I think I need to mention, as you guys know, English is not a lingua franca in Estonia. Quite a lot of people have started speaking English now, which is good compared to when we first arrived. But however, it's nothing to worry about. Both times when I used Ravi, for example, and I say the same for, because I've asked also moms who gave birth in Pegulina, the language wasn't so much of a barrier, especially for me. All the people that were on my team from the beginning when I got pregnant to the end spoke English, and they spoke English maybe not like fluently, but English enough for you to communicate, to say, oh, this is what's happening to me, and the doctor or the nurse or whoever, the midwife, will be able to also say, oh, this is what So I don't think language is something that you should be worried about when it comes to using the hospital, the medical services. So far, and from other moms and myself, I think the language is good. It's good enough. So I think that should calm your nerves a bit if you are thinking to relocate here, or you are here and you're thinking to start your family or increase your family. So I think at the end of the day, on choosing your hospitals, I think the major thing is that decides which hospital to go for is what you want. Maybe you have a particular birth plan that you want to follow, or your location where your house is. Because when you're in labor, you don't know when you're going to fall in labor, so you don't want to be too far from your hospital. So location might be one thing that will help you decide on where to use. And that thing that will help you decide is what your GP, your family doctor, but in our case is the midwife, what your midwife would recommend, maybe as your pregnancy progresses at the end of the day. So I think, but honestly, what I would say at the end of the day is whatever hospital you use out of these two hospitals, you are in good hands and you have no reason to be afraid. All right. The next topic that I wrote is how to register for prenatal care. You are found out that you're pregnant. Everybody is happy. You are excited and elated. The next thing for you is to register for prenatal care. It is usually done through your family doctor. Here we call them family doctor. In other places they call them the GP, general practitioner, but we just call them our family doctors. So if you already have, like if you're already in Estonia, you most likely will already have a family doctor. So all you need to do is, once you do that test and you realize that you are pregnant, and the test says that you are pregnant, you need to call up a family doctor and or send an email to them to say, oh, I just did the pregnancy test and I am pregnant, and the family doctor will give you a time to come. So you have the blood test done to confirm the pregnancy. So once you confirm your pregnancy, they will tell you to come so that they can give you a midwife who will then monitor your pregnancy from that point to the point of delivery. However, if you don't have a family doctor or a GP yet, then you need to go into the hospital, either of the women's hospital, either the Rafi hospital or the Pegulina hospital, whichever is closest to you. Just walk into the hospital, go to the registration desk and tell the nurse there or the midwife there, whoever is there, to say, oh, I did a test and I'm pregnant. I would like to be booked in for a midwife. So most times, I think according to my own experience, they would ask you if you speak the language. If you don't, then they will refer you to an English-speaking midwife. And then from then on, the midwife monitors your pregnancy to the point of delivery. It's also good to note that most times the hospital where you register your pregnancy is most likely going to be the hospital where you will give birth, except maybe along the line during the pregnancy journey. Maybe there's some medical reason why you cannot give birth in this particular hospital and you are referred to another one. But generally and most times, the hospital where you register the pregnancy is where you most likely give birth to your baby. If you have not decided on the hospital that you want to give birth in, it's okay. The most important thing is that once you see that once you have found out that you are pregnant, you want to start getting your prenatal care as early as possible, as soon as possible. Don't wait, don't deter. You need to go into the hospital, whatever hospital is closest to you, and at least register the pregnancy, start getting care. And along the line, if you then decide, oh, I don't want to use Pregolina, for example, I want to use Ravi, or I don't want to use Ravi, I want to use Pregolina, then your midwife can have that happen along the line. But you know that you already started getting the prenatal care that you need. Okay. So once you have registered the pregnancy and you have been given a midwife, you need to also know that your midwife will be the point of contact for everything that concerns your pregnancy, except it is an emergency. If it's an emergency, then you call the ambulance or you go into the emergency section of the hospital. But if it's regular, if it has to just do with regular or general checkups, when it comes to your pregnancy, your midwife is your first point of contact going forward. So she will do the checks, she'll monitor your baby, she'll monitor yourself, she'll give you the tests to do at different points in your pregnancy. And you'll typically see your midwife once every month. And then once you start getting closer to delivery around the third trimester, maybe mid third trimester, towards the end of third trimester, then your visits will begin to be a bit more frequent, except of course along the different stages of pregnancy. There's a reason why your midwife needs to see you more often, but generally speaking, you get to see your midwife just once every month. You go for checkups, they check the baby, the heartbeat, they check you do your blood work, you do your weight, just to make sure that you're not adding too much weight, or you're not losing too much weight. They check your blood work, yeah, to make sure that you don't have low iron levels. So they just check, like, different times in your pregnancy. They have different things that they check, and they check your baby. At every point, they're going to listen to your baby's heartbeat, and they are going to make sure that it's at the right level that it should be. So your midwife is also the person that tells you, that explains to you what labor and delivery, what to expect. They explain to you what happens after delivery, after the baby is born, what to expect. I think one thing to note is that the midwife that you are assigned to when you get pregnant is not the midwife that will birth your child. That was one thing that I found weird when I got pregnant from BBT. In Nigeria, where I'm from, usually I think the doctor that sees you from the beginning is the one that will most likely birth your child. But here in Estonia, the midwife that starts your pregnancy journey with you is not the midwife. Like, it's not the midwife that will birth your child on the day of delivery. So that's something that you also want to put at the back of your mind. Yeah, so your midwife will just explain everything to you, and then on the day of delivery, whichever midwife is on call is the one that will birth your baby for you. Okay, so if any complications come up, or if there's anything that you are not sure of while you're pregnant, while you're going through the different stages of pregnancy, your midwife is the first point of call. You will have her email, you have her contact, but if there's an emergency, she'll give you a number to call. Yeah, I know I talked briefly about the communication gap at the beginning of this video, but I need to also mention that most maternity staff here in Ravi and Pegulina speak English. They are used to working with a lot of international families, so it's not really so much of an issue, and it's not something that you should be worried about. But that said, here I think you should also put in mind that in case you go and register for your pregnancy and you are not asked if you want an English speaking doctor, please don't be afraid to speak up for yourself. Tell them that you prefer an English speaking midwife, and then as you go on with your midwife, because at certain stages in your pregnancy you will need to see specialists like doctors. So it's okay to also tell your midwife that you prefer to see English speaking doctors, right? So don't be afraid to speak up for yourself and tell them that this is what you prefer. Oh, please, can I have an English speaking doctor? Can I have an English speaking midwife? So that it makes your process a lot easier for you. Also, maybe if you want to try to learn a bit of the language, things that that will come in handy for you while you communicate, things like, oh, I'm in pain, or I feel a bit sick. I feel a bit sick. You can say my olen haige, which means I am sick. Or just learn a few phrases that that would help you communicate better. And then always have your phone with you, and download the Google Translate on your phone. The Google Translate app, download it on your phone, so that when you cannot speak or when you don't remember what you want to say, you can just put it on Google Translate and it will translate that for you. And as God will have it, the Google Translate app also has the speaking feature. So when they are speaking, and maybe for example the person doesn't know how to communicate in English, does not know how to say something in English, but they can say it in Estonian, you can sweep out your phone, put it in the voice activated translate, and then have them speak to your phone, and then Google will translate it for you. So those are easy ways where you can also navigate the language problem. Those are the things that I did on days where I know that I couldn't maybe there was some, because there's sometimes that you want to communicate, you know what you want to say, but it's just stuck in your head and you cannot put it into the other language. Times like that, Google Translate comes in very, very handy. Another thing I would say is maybe you can consider getting a doula that can help translate. A doula is someone that assists you when you are giving birth. So you can get a doula when you are about to give birth. Ensure that the doula understands Estonian and English as well. So when they speak, the doula can translate it to you and you can understand what they're saying. Another I have on my list is antenatal care and appointment. So like I said earlier, your appointments are going to be like at the beginning of your pregnancy, once in a month, and then as you get to the end of your pregnancy, maybe like from the middle of third trimester to the end of third trimester, it becomes a bit more frequent depending on your midwife. If your midwife feels like, oh, there's no reason, like when I had baby T, almost at the end, like when I got to mid third trimester, it became, I think, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, every 2 to 3 weeks. But when I had baby T2, it was the same, like once every month to the end of this. I guess it was because this was my second pregnancy and my body kind of already knew what to do. Unlike the first time when it was first, it was new, it was fresh, so nobody could predict anything. So, but yeah, at the beginning, it's like once a month. And then towards the end, it begins to be a bit more frequent. Yeah, but if you feel anything at any point, please don't wait for your appointment. Call. If it's very urgent, go into the hospital, go to the emergency section. They will attend to you immediately. Please don't wait. If your gut feeling is telling you that something is wrong, run to the hospital and get yourself checked up. So when you go to this visit, your monthly appointment, here are some things that your doctor is going to be, or your midwife is going to be checking. You're going to be checking your blood pressure. You're going to be checking your weight. You're going to be checking your baby's heartbeat or your baby's heartbeat. They're going to be checking your uterus size and your baby's position, just to be sure that everything is okay with you and with your baby. They will also go over any symptoms or any questions that you have. They're going to ask you if you have any questions or if you have any symptoms that you've noticed along. I remember my midwife would say, oh, are you tired? Oh, how are you feeling? You know, things like that. So it is a time to tell your midwife whatever you felt all through from the last appointment to this recent appointment. Or another thing I usually do was I would, if the questions come up during the week, I would note them down so that by the time I go for my appointment, I haven't forgotten what I want to ask my midwife. So those are some of the things that you want to also do as you go through the different stages of pregnancy. So don't hesitate to ask any questions that you have. Obviously, you need to also ask them in a respectful manner. Okay, so these are things that you want to put into consideration because your midwife is also a human being just like you. So you want to ask questions. If you have any questions or you felt any pain or there was something that happened and it wasn't an emergency but you just thought, oh, I would like answers to, don't forget to ask your midwife. Just write them down as the days progress and as the week progress, and when you go for your appointment, you can ask your midwife. Another thing that also happens is you also get to do blood tests and urine tests. I brought this with me. So these are some of the things that they give you at every appointment when you go and see your midwife. This is for the pee. So you pee into this, and this is for the pee actually. So what happens is that they give you this cup to take home at your appointment. So you pee into this cup, and once you pee into this cup, you open this flap, you see a hole here. So once you pee, you put it inside this hole, right, like this, and then you press it in like this. Once you press it in, the pressure that you feel when you press it in will make the pee go into this bottle. It is this container that you will take to the lab. You go and drop it at the lab, and they will also give you, your doctor would have, your midwife would have registered you for blood tests as well. So once you go for the blood test, you'll take this urine. She will explain everything to you. I'm just telling you the things that happen when you go for this test. Once you get to the lab, you drop this off and then you go and do your blood test, and you check in for your results much later. Ultrasound and special tests are also things that happen when you go for this appointment. Ultrasound, so before I used to think that ultrasound will happen at every test. Here in Estonia, at least from my own experience, it doesn't happen at every visit. Ultrasound happened only when I saw the doctor. Yeah, those were the times, and those were, I think, 2 or 3 times at each stage of your trimester. So at first trimester, at some point in your first trimester, you see the doctor, you have an ultrasound done. At another stage in your second trimester, you see the doctor, you have another ultrasound done. Is that ultrasound that will tell you the sex of your baby? And at the third trimester, at some point in your third trimester, you'll see the doctor again just to see the position of the baby, the growth of the baby, and stuff like that. So at those three milestone points of your pregnancy, those are the times that, at least from my experience, we had the ultrasound done. So I just wanted to prepare your mind so you don't feel like it's every time when you go. However, when you go for your midwife appointment every month, they are going to check the heartbeat of your baby. But most times they use this. I'm going to leave the picture here. They use this portable heartbeat machine. They don't use the screen, that one that we know that we see in movies. They don't use those ones. So they just put those ones. Doppel machine is, I think, is what it's called. If I'm wrong, I'm going to leave it on the screen. But yeah, they use that machine. It's just a small portable machine like this, and they just put the Doppler. It's just a small thing that looks like a shaker. They put it on your stomach and then just check for the heartbeat of the baby, and that's it. I remember when I was pregnant for my second baby. Every time we went, I'll be like, I usually forget that. Oh, sorry, this is not the time that we'll see the baby, but I usually look forward to seeing my baby. But that only happened when I saw the doctor. So that's something that you also want to know, so that you are not too disappointed. But yeah. So another thing is at 24 to 28 weeks, somewhere along those lines, or 20 to 24, I can't remember. You are also going to do a glucose test to check for gestational. Guys, this word always twist my tongue. Gestational diabetes. So this happens around the 24th to 20 something to 28th mark, thereabout, is where you have this test done. You go to the hospital, and you go to the hospital very early in the morning. You do your first urine test. You are going to be asked to buy glucose water. So once you get to the hospital, you take your blood sample. After you take your blood sample, you drink the glucose drink that you got, and then you wait 1 hour. After 1 hour, they will take your blood sample again. And then you wait for another, I think, 1 hour or 2 hours. I'm not sure right now, but I know that you wait for another hour, and then they'll take your blood sample again. So they're just trying to see how your body is processing sugar, and to be sure that you are not diabetic. Because sometimes pregnancy usually induces diabetes in some people, and that kind of diabetes is called gestational diabetes. However, after pregnancy, it fizzles out. So there's no reason to worry, but there's no reason to have it as well. But if you have it, don't be too hard on yourself. After pregnancy, it goes away by itself. And then if you have it, the midwife then tells you what the kind of food to eat, what you should avoid, and things like that, just to help you monitor your food intake and help you make better choices as you go through your pregnancy, basically, when it comes to food, exercises, and things like that. One of the things you also need to note is that when you go for this appointment, you are given this document. At the point where you are assigned this one says either Talina Kes Haigla Edusomnum. So this is like I told you I gave birth in Ravi. That's why it says either is East in Estonia. So East Tallinn Central Hospital, maternity card or card, yeah. So you'll be given this, and this is where all your details will be entered into: your name, your spouse's name, your height, your weight, what you do, your spouse's details as well, the date where you got pregnant, the date when you got pregnant, your proposed EDD. What else is here? Yeah, and then everything that has to do with your test, all your tests, your blood work, and everything will also be entered here. Also, your next appointment, if you guys can see, will also be entered here. So this book, if you are pregnant in Tallinn, Estonia, you need to be taking this book everywhere you go. It's like MTN, a network provider where I'm from in Nigeria. Their tagline is everywhere you go. You see this book? Everywhere you go. You need to take it everywhere you go. I'm not joking. This book and your ID card need to be in your bag everywhere you go. So every time you go for an appointment, it needs to be with you. Anytime you are leaving your house for anything, even as much as an errand, you need to take this book with you, with your ID card, so that in case anything happens, there's somebody that they can refer to, basically. Because I remember when I was pregnant for my first, my midwife usually told me, always take this card. So please always take this card with you. When you are going for your appointment or you are going anywhere, always take this card with you. And then your ID card as well is something that you also need at your appointment as well. The system is very organized here, so there's nothing to be worried about. Your midwife will definitely talk you through everything and every process so that you are not too overwhelmed with, the system. But I don't think you will be, because it's a gradual thing. All right, so now that we've registered for the appointment, we've been going for appointments, everything is going well. The next thing we need to talk about is preparing for delivery. You guys, let's talk about preparing for delivery, because once you get to the third trimester, the way the time flies, or let me say the way you think it will fly. Anyway, the way time flies. All right, what to pack in your hospital bag? I'm just going to go through it briefly. I need to say, like I mentioned in my birth vlog, if you haven't seen that vlog, I'm going to leave it linked here, and I'm going to leave it in the description box. Check it for baby T1 and baby T2. I shared my birth experiences. So what you need to pack in your hospital bag is basically things that you need for yourself. I made mention in that video that everything that your baby needs, Estonia does that for you. Everything that your baby needs, even change of clothes, guys. For baby T2, for baby T1, I packed plenty things. Baby T2, I didn't even bother. I just went with the clothes that he was going to wear out of the hospital when we were coming back home. Everything that he wore in the hospital, I used the one in the hospital: diapers, wipes, cleaning things, cotton bud, everything that my baby needed, the hospital provided. However, for you, everything that you need, I would say you should take. The only thing I used at the hospital, and I had to ask for it, was the pad. I got pad this time. When I had my first child, I used everything that I went with, but this time I didn't go with a lot of things. So I wore the hospital gown, because I felt, what's the point? Why do I want to go back home with dirty clothes when I can be changed? Every morning when I wake up, I change, I have my bath, I request for new clothes, and those clothes are always laundered every day. So I just took that. But if you are very picky and you want to use your own clothes, please feel free to take your own clothes that you wear in the hospital. But I think you should take your snacks. Guys, go and watch that video or those videos. They will help you put some light into what you should take. Also, they will give you this book when you give birth at the hospital. These two books. This one was given to me when I had baby T1, and this was given to me when I had baby T2. So I think they just basically revamped it, but they have almost the same information, and everything that you need about coming to the hospital is here. If you want to read on those. This is another book that I got. You get this information for newborns. You'll get this when you give birth to your baby. You get this when you give birth to your baby. If you want a full list of what to pack in your hospital bag, I'm going to leave a video here where you can refer to all the things that I packed. My hospital, what's in my hospital bag, and my delivery vlogs. They have full information on what to pack when you are going to the hospital. It's also mentioned that these hospitals also have family rooms. They have different rooms. So they have the general rooms, they have single rooms, they have family rooms, depending on what you want and depending on what you prefer. We got one of the family rooms because my husband was with me. So you can decide to stay with other women. If that's what you want, you can decide to stay with some women. There's a general room, and then there's the room where I think there's just 4 women or 2 women, I can't remember. Then there are some where it's just you. There are some where you and your family can stay. So depending on all the information are on their website. So you can see the picture as well. So depending on what you prefer, you can pay accordingly. And depending on what you want, the amount that you pay for each room is different. All right. So I think that's something that you also want to know about. All right. So another I want to talk about is maternity leave and registration tips. If you are working in Estonia, you are entitled to a generous maternity leave. So maternity leave is about 3 years here in Estonia. 1.5 years of those 3 years is paid for if you have been working in Estonia prior to when you gave birth. And then you can start your leave 70 days before your due date. Just make sure that you tell your HR ahead of time so that they can book you in to say, okay, 70 days before your EDD, you can already take some time off to nest, to spend some time alone and just gather your strength for the big day. Support person policy. To the best of my knowledge, the Estonian hospital allows 1 support person. When I gave birth to baby T, it was during the COVID time, and only 1 support person was allowed. And at the time, I was considering getting a doula, and I remember my asked my midwife, and my midwife told me that if I get a doula, it means that my husband won't be able to be with me at the delivery. So I scrapped the doula. So I stayed. My husband was my support person for baby T1 and baby T2. So maybe that's something you also want to consider in case you are thinking of getting a doula. You might want to weigh your options to know which one would you prefer. Would you prefer to have your support person can be your husband, your friend, whoever, your doula. So that's something that you need to also know. Antenatal classes, they also offer antenatal classes in these hospitals. Most of them, to be fair, are in Estonian, but they have English classes as well. I remember when I had baby T1, because it was a COVID period, there were no physical antenatal classes. So I remember my midwife advising me that I should get on YouTube and look for hospitals or midwives, like trained midwives, not YouTubers like me. So I'm telling you, in case you want to do that, don't go and look for YouTubers like me. Look for hospitals, midwives, trained, certified doctors that are offering antenatal care. The ones that I used was a hospital in US. I've forgotten the name. I'm going to leave the link in the description box as well. So if you want a full, like it was a full class, 5 classes. Me and my husband had to go through those 5 classes. But those were super helpful. They taught me what to do, and they taught my husband what to do as my support person as well. And you can also check the hospital's website. Ravi or Pegulina, they'll have some English speaking antenatal classes. Another thing you need to know is that some of their classes are not free. You have to pay, but they are not very expensive. So that's one thing to note as well. Okay, so the labor and delivery process, we're almost done. The part where everybody is jiggy about. What really happens when you show up at the hospital? From check-in to delivery, once you come in, when you meet your midwife will tell you what part of the hospital you need to go to when you are in labor. It's usually different from the place where you go to when you are going for your regular checkups. Okay, so once you get there, you go straight to the to the midwife who is on call, and you are going to go in. See, guys, this card, where is it? I need to show you guys again. This card, or the card that they give you, always have it. So when you're going to hospital, you need to go with this card and your ID card. So they will take your ID card and this card from you. She will do the registration. She'll register you in time and everything, and they'll give you a band. Once she registers you in, they'll put the wristband on your hand, and then they start checking your baby. They check your baby's heartbeat. They measure your contractions, how far apart they are, and then they decide if you be admitted or not. So if you are like maybe 1 centimeter dilated, there's a possibility that they will send you home. If you are 4 centimeter, they will most likely keep you. So depending on how far along you are or how big your cervix is. So for those that don't know, when you are in labor, your cervix needs to open up until 10 centimeter. 10 centimeter is when all your fingers can go in at the same time. That's 10 centimeter. So once it's 10 centimeter, it means that you're ready to give birth. But before then, it will just be progressing, 1 finger, 2 fingers, 3 fingers, like that. So once they check you, they then decide if you'll be admitted immediately or if you still need to wait it out a little bit. Once you're admitted, for example, if you're like 4 centimeter, they take you straight to the delivery room. The delivery room is just one room, just you. You have the bed and all the machines and everything, and then there's a little place where they've set up for your baby when you deliver your baby. You have the weight, everything, clothes, everything is there, diaper, everything has been quite organized, I must say, and very clean. There's a toilet and bath as well, where you can go in, have a bath, have a shower. They will change you also into the hospital gown once they put that band on your hand. And your support person will be with you all through this period. If you don't need to go home, if you are there, your support person will also be there with you. Like I said, pain relief options, you can talk to your midwife what options they have. I know that they have epidural, I know that they have the gas one bath of showers. I use 1 bath of showers for baby T2, so you can do that as well. Your support person can massage you while you are in labor if that's what you want. Those things are available. And also, because it's a private room to just you, it makes you feel more at home, and nobody's just patching into your privacy anyhow. All right, so That's as far as from the beginning to delivery. And then your midwife is there. You have nurses, you have people on call, midwife and nurses, that would help you. They will come in at regular intervals to check, I hope you are okay. They will measure your contractions, measure your baby's heartbeat. They need to always know that your baby's heartbeat is being heard, and they will keep monitoring checking your cervix to see if how dilated you or how far along you are. One thing I need to also say is that I like the fact that they are not too checky. So it's not like they'll come every 1 hour or every 30 minutes. Oh, let me check, because that thing can be a bit uncomfortable or inconveniencing. So they just come, like they are very, modest in it basically, and they check it as regularly as they think that they should. And then once you are ready to give birth, everybody comes in and you have your own personal delivery experience. That I cannot tell you, because it's personal to each person. Okay, all right. So after a baby is born, how long do you stay in the hospital? If everything goes well, no complications, nothing is wrong with you, and you had a vaginal birth, you're going to stay 2 days, compulsory 2 days in the hospital. And on those 2 days, people will be coming, not people, like the nurses and the doctors, pediatrician will be coming at intervals to check you, to check your baby. The midwife, another midwife, I told you that the midwife that will give birth to your baby is different from the midwife that has been with you throughout your pregnancy journey. So you have one midwife that takes you from the moment you register your pregnancy to the day you go into labor. You have another midwife that helps you with the delivery of your baby. I think if it is your first child, there's a doctor on call. Like when I had baby T1, there was a doctor in the delivery room with me, but another midwife was the one that gave birth to the baby. When I had baby T2, however, there was nobody. It was just that midwife, another midwife, that delivered baby T2. Then when you finish giving birth, there will be different midwives on call on those first and second days when you'll be in the hospital. If you delivered vaginally, those midwives are different. So different people just come. I think the only reason why I like that is that different people come with different, with fresh eyes, so that there's no negligence as much as possible. Do you understand? So the midwife will come once you deliver your baby and you are set up in your own room, depending on the room that you choose. The midwife will come and check your stomach, press it to be sure that everything is okay. And they will also check your baby. The pediatrician will come check your baby. They'll be doing like different tests as well. If you are O negative, if you have the resource negative thing like I did, they are going to take your blood immediately and test your baby as well immediately. And then if you need the shots, the ROGAM shots, then they will come and give you. But those are things that you need to also, in case, you need to also mention as when you give birth and you are settled. However, if you had a C-section, I think you are going to stay 3 to 5 days. I'm not sure. So you want to check with your midwife. I'm not sure, but I think so. And food, if depending on what, I think every room has food. I think so. If you pay for it, I think so. But yeah, you are giving food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Meal, I ate all my food. I did not waste anything. Everything they brought, I ate. For some weird reason, when I finished giving birth, I usually eat like a whale. So I just eat. I ate everything. It wasn't super, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't as bad as hospital food, like It was good. For me, it was okay. It was okay. So let's go to postpartum and newborn registration. When you give birth in Estonia, immediately you give birth, your baby is given this band. So on this band right now, I have Adekoya Poise. Poise in English means boy. Means a boy. So Adekoya boy. And then you have the barcode that leads to the details of the boy. And then the time of birth, which is 4:55, and then his ID code. So everybody in Estonia, whether a citizen or you are a residence permit holder, everybody has what we call an ISECU code. So that's like your code, your ID code, basically. So his own is here as well. So you are given this, and then much later, when you get to your room, your family room, while you're resting, they bring this book. So I'm guessing that this same thing that they gave baby T1, I'm guessing if you have a girl, then this bowl will be pink. But I have 2 boys, so both of them are blue. And then on it you have congratulations. And then they wrote the Adekoya boy. They wrote his ID code on it as well. And then you have the day, the date, the time, his weight, his height. I think the name of the doctor or the midwife that took his birth. After a few hours you've given birth, they'll come and check if your uterus has maybe shrunk a little bit. They will do these checks randomly in your family room while you are in the family room. Yeah, your baby gets a few checks as well. They check your baby's weight at, I think, every day. They'll check it every day, because when you give birth to your baby, it is normal that in the first maybe 1 or 2 days, your baby is going to lose a bit of weight. But by the third day, your baby should start, or I think the end of the second day or something like that, your baby should start adding back the weight. So they will be monitoring it to make sure that the baby is eating, your baby is sucking well on your breast most times, and then your baby is gaining weight. And then they check for newborn reflexes. It's called the APGAR score. So they grade it like that to make sure that what was their responsiveness immediately they came out of the womb. Did they cry immediately? Did they need to be tapped immediately? Did they, just different responses at different times. And the birth certificate process, before leaving the hospital, I told you that they will give you this. So this is what you take to your local government that they will use to issue you a birth certificate. So in Estonia, you can either get the physical birth certificate, or you just get the online birth certificate. As Nigerian as me I am, we are used to paper. So I got this is baby T2's birth certificate. I had to get it. I have the online one, and the online one is like, it's just like a sheet of paper like this. So by the time you print it, this is what it's like. So I'm like, I don't want to show it because it has my baby's details in it. But this is what the online birth certificate looks like. This is what the physical birth certificate looks like. However, what happens is that if you request, one of them is free. If you request for this, then you are going to pay for this. If you request for this, then you're going to pay for this. I think it's about 10 euros. See, what's 10 euros? It's so beautiful, you guys. It's like an award. So this is what the birth certificate looks like. So you go to you apply for it online. You have to register your baby's birth online. Once you get home, you are done from the hospital. There's this book. This is the book. It says information for newborns and parents. So you have to go to the website, or you can go physically as well. But what we did was we registered the birth on the website, and then went physically to pick up his birth certificate or their birth certificate. So that's how you do register. You have to register your birth, because once you register your birth, the social insurance, they get that information. The police and border guard, which is our immigration, gets that information, and then they can process your child's documents or whenever you need it. The social insurance can process your benefit, your child's benefit. When you give birth in Estonia, the government pays you when you give birth, and then pays you on a monthly basis parental benefit. You can get those details on the website. I'm going to leave the website on the screen as well. And make sure that you register your baby's birth in 30 days. So I think you need to register either 30 days or 2 months, but 30 days, you need to register your child's birth immediately you give birth to your child, so that everything that you need to do when it comes to documentation and government will already start. And then if you don't register your baby's birth, you cannot register your child for kindergarten. So once you register, another thing is that if you don't register your baby's birth immediately, you cannot go for your 1-month baby appointment. The reason is that, in fact, it happened to us. So we registered baby T2's birth immediately we got home. However, for some weird reason, I think because the health insurance board had a lot of backlogs, they didn't get to our registration on time. So by the time we went for baby T2's appointment, 1-month appointment, the midwife, the doctor was telling us that they cannot attend to us, that we don't have insurance, that the baby does not have insurance. Meanwhile, I had insurance, but they said the baby didn't have insurance, so they cannot. That we should go to the insurance board and have it sorted. So when we got there, we now realized that, it's because they had backlogs. So they gave us that, okay, by, I think that it was a Friday or Thursday, that by Monday, when we go back, it would have been sorted. So we had to go back for that appointment, I think the Monday after. So that's another reason why, if not, your baby will not be checked at his or her 1-month appointment, and you don't want that. So please, as soon as you are lucid, as soon as you are fine, please register your baby's birth, so that every other thing that is attached to it can go smoothly. Yeah, so once you do, you can do that in the hospital as well. If you have with your computer, you can already register your baby's birth. You don't have to wait till you get home. And once you are discharged, everything is fine, and you are home. One thing I noticed that they now do is that a midwife will visit you at home. We didn't have that for baby T1. They just started that, I think, last year. So when we had baby T2, the midwife came, I think, the week after. On the Tuesday, the Tuesday after, the midwife came to check the baby, check the weight, make sure that you've been feeding the baby well and the baby is growing. Checked me myself, checked my uterus to be sure that it has shrunk to what it should shrink to, which was very nice. And she was very nice. They checked everything and made sure that everything was okay and we didn't have any issue. And it was really a nice thought, and it helped that period. Like, it felt like, oh, I'm being seen, I'm being taken care of. It was a really good touch and it was nice. And then she said, if you have any issues, reach out to, they'll give you a number to reach out to. Yeah, it is at this point that you now reach out to your family doctor to tell them that, we've given birth, and we are home. We need to schedule our child's 1 month appointment. From there, you then start having regular checkups. Your baby is to be seen by your family doctor or GP every month, and they will give you the date. When you go for the one, they will give you the date for the next ones, and they will explain to you, oh, this month we're going to give your baby this shot or mouth shot or shot in the leg. They will explain as time goes on, and they will put everything on your health portal online, your baby's health portal online, which only you and your partner will have access to, and the doctor. So that's about it. Like, from the point where you find out you're pregnant to the point where you bring your baby home, everything is really organized. I'm not going to lie to you, it's very organized. But please don't fail to ask questions if you have any. I don't shy away from asking questions. I ask it in a very respectful manner, but I like to ask questions so that I am properly informed as to what's happening. If you are giving my baby shots and I don't know what it is, I will ask you, please, what is it? What is it supposed to do? How is this? You ask questions. It's your baby, it's your body. Ask. So that you have pretty good information. Yeah, so to finish it up, you guys know that I already have 2 birth vlogs on my channel. For baby T1, I'm going to leave it linked here. For baby T2, I'm going to leave it linked here, which is the most recent one. Yeah, you can check it and find out everything that happened, how the nitty-gritty of everything. Hospital bag as well, I'm going to leave it linked. Have that checked as well so that you can properly pack your hospital bag. If you want details on the difference in the birth experiences, please watch those videos. They are very, very detailed. I try to give as much support as I can give and make it clear as much as I could, and I hope it's helpful. So just check it out. I'm going to leave it linked in the description box as well. So giving birth in Estonia as a foreign mom, it does have a bit of its challenges, not a lot. I think the only thing is that you don't have like your home support, but when it comes to care, when it comes to the tests, when it comes to things that should be done, I personally had an amazing experience, a beautiful experience. And some places where they were not so good, I would talk to my midwife about it, or mention it to people. But overall, honestly, I had a good experience. So before we wrap up, I want to say thank you first to the person who left this comment. You gave me a video to do. To everyone out there who is a foreign mom, an expert, it's possible to have a smooth and positive experience in Tallinn, Estonia. You are not alone. You have a lot of support available. Reach out to people. If you have any questions that you think I can help with, leave them in the comment section below. I will try my best to answer them. I'll be happy to help the best way that I can. And if you are new here, like I said, don't forget to subscribe and join the family. Like, if you are not new, share. And let's just increase the family, okay? And if you are not in Estonia, you are in Europe and you want to share your own experience, let me know. In the US, Canada, let's compare experiences. It will be a nice it will be nice to also shine some light on other parts as well. Yeah, thank you so much, you guys, for watching and for joining me in this video. I hope you had an amazing time. Yeah, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next video. Jesus loves you. Bye.